I love my HBCU. And boy, I love it, love it. I love it, love it. I love my HBCU. And man, I hope my team they won one. I hope my team they won one. Yeah, man. I hope my team they won one. I hope my team they won one. I tune into the HBCU Sports Lab to see if my team won or lost. If they lost, I'm quiet as a mouse. But if they won, keep tab. I'ma do the dab, yeah. Dr. Cavil, he know what he be talking about. Mike and Charles, they know what they be talking about. They compress the analytic data with the hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they won or lost, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington, Charles Bishop. Let me say welcome to episode 733 of Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. As we're doing that, I'm going to play you a little video to get you ready for the show. See what they're thinking down in the Prairie View parts there.
Prairie View A&M, come on, let's check in. When you see this face, it's time for us to talk. I need alumni, students, and surrounding areas to pay close attention. The game this Saturday at 2 o'clock will be the biggest game that Prairie View has had since the new stadium has been built. This game has a major implication in us going and hosting the SWAC championship. The athletics department, alumni, and staff at Prairie View reached out to me to make sure that I talked to other Prairie View alums to let them know the importance of the game this Saturday and why we all need to be there in full attendance to support our school. This game is a whiteout game. The reason this game is so important and considered the biggest game is because Alabama has the #1 offense and Prairie View has the #1 defense. That means two schools at the top of the list are battling to see who will win and who will host the SWAC championship. I don't know about y'all, but I need that SWAC championship in my backyard. Because best believe come SWAC championship December 6th, I'm trying to tailgate again just like it's homecoming, baby. And I know you want to too. So since you want to and I want to, let's go ahead and accomplish this goal together. If you're a Prairie View alum, I need you to bring another alum. Even Coach Tremaine Jackson, what he's doing is that if you've been affected by the government shutdown, he say he paying for your ticket. He say you walk up, you show your federal ID, boop, ticket. I don't know no other coaches doing that. So this is the reason why we need to show the same love that we get. But those of you like me that went to the SWAC championship back in 2009 when it was in Birmingham, it's going to be a completely different vibe having it back here at Prairie View. I'm already trying to get me a PV leather coat. I already talked to Brandon for the official PV store. But come on, Coach Jackson, Madam President, y'all put in the word for your boy so I can get that exclusive PV merch because I will be at the SWAC championship. We tell everybody how Prairie View is the greatest school in the world. This is our chance to show it by showing up, showing out, selling this game out, and showing everybody what it means to be a Prairie View alum and to have school spirit. Make sure you there and spread this message. Amen. Say, man, Prairie View A&M, come on, let's check in. When you see this face, it's time for us to talk. I need alumni, students, and surrounding areas to pay close attention. The game this Saturday at 2 o'clock will be the biggest game that Prairie View has had since.
Boy, I tell you, that's them new boys. Ada Gamma, One Chapter, One Shield. Shout out to the brother Rod Glass Jr. getting it done. Been showing out for a minute on Instagram. Or that video he did for pregame telling you how to prepare for yourself and make sure that you take plenty of fluids was hilarious. He continues to do what he needs to do. So I wanted to show him some love in terms of what he's getting down. But as we said, welcome to episode 733 of Inside HBCU Sports Lab radio show and podcast. The show that's covering the sporting HBCU dash for all things HBCU sports for institutions large and small, from the NAIA to the NCAA. We'll share insights and information on the HBCU sports culture, HBCU athletic aesthetics to facilitate the story of HBCU athletic programs in the business of HBCU sports. I'm your host, Dr. Kenyatta, along with my co-host, Mike Washington, Charles Bishop, filming from our home studios and sending a signal live to KCUH 1230 AM studios with the Texas Radio Hall of Famer, multi-Hall of Famer that is in the beautiful home of Texas Southern University from Houston, Texas. With that being said, let me bring everybody on board. Shout out to Adam Spencer, what he says with the Go Pirates, Hampton Pirates. As everybody's coming on board, I want to say today's episode of Inside the HBCU Sports Lab is sponsored by THD Agency. THD Agency is a company that provides sporting, educational, consulting, and data analytics. I know Wilton and Charles and them chuckling a little bit, but Prairie said they in the business of football business. So it looks like they realize what's going on here for a minute. We'll have another video as folks who recognizing what time it is and preparing, thankfully, to the upset. In some ways, I guess people saw it in terms of Grambling and Jackson State. It opens the door. We'll talk a little bit about that. But let me open this up because I did have somebody that asked a question. But before I do that and turn the mic over and see how y'all doing officially, I do want to make a couple of frameworks, but I'll do this. Let me say, what's up, Charles Bishop? How you doing today? How you feeling?
I'm doing well, Doc. I'm doing well. Looking forward to this weekend. We got a lot of intrigue around the SWAC this weekend and around the MEAC as well. So looking forward to a great football weekend.
Mike, how you?
Oh man, I am just dandy. Just dandy. I listened to that message and I'm about to get my fluids on too. Man,
It don't take much for Mike, do it, y'all.
It doesn't take much
at all.
Yeah.
And like Charles, I'm looking to SWAC, MEAC, and Division II. Although I may have to tap my man AD on the shoulder and ask him a couple of D2 questions. There's a couple of games going there too. So real good games going on this weekend. Looking forward to it. Me and my liquids.
That being said, let me go to you, AD. How are you?
Well, unfortunately, I can't get my libation on until late Saturday because I do have a home football game. So, Mike, put one back for your boy. As some of us actually have to go to the office and work. You know, we can't always be on assignment like you, Mike.
Good stuff. With that being said, Wilton, what about yourself? That's Wilton Jackson II for those that don't know.
Doc, I'm doing good. It's another good weekend of football coming up, and in many ways, we're getting some games that could create some major separation in different conferences, specifically the SWAC. The biggest game probably this weekend, specifically, you're talking about Prairie and Alabama State. That's a game that I'll definitely have my eye on. I mean, again, we're talking about Prairie starting the show. I can't wait till we get a chance to kind of dive into that. And then, of course, Jackson State family. That's a game that a lot of people will be watching. And then to Mike's point, some D2 games that will be on my radar as well. But again, 1st of November, this is the time where football counts the most.
You said it. It's time to turn the page.
Absolutely.
This is get official. Folks trying to center themselves and position themselves to play for a championship, lock down a championship. We'll see what that is. We will talk a little bit about the host of the championship game, but I want to give this update. Indianapolis, Indiana. The NCAA board has appointed 5 new members to the board of Governor's Finance Audit Committee, highlighted by SWAC Commissioner Dr. Charles McCullen being selected to serve on the committee. The NCAA Board of Governors Finance and Audit Committee is a governance body of the NCAA responsible for overseeing the organization's financing and auditing process. It operates under the broader NCAA Board of Governors to ensure fiscal responsibility, review financial statements, conduct audits to maintain financial integrity and transparency within the NCAA. So kudos and congratulations to Dr. Charles McCullen. Then I had Jimmy Wilson asked me to make sure I provided some updates officially in terms of what does it mean to host the championship game. With a couple of caveats in terms of the financial economic component of that, and that's the biggest thing he wanted to do. Some people were asking me what are the lineups, so I shared that with some folks. If you hit me up on one of the social media platforms, I'll share it based on what you want. I don't know if we'll have time to really get into that. Still a lot to be played, a lot of seasons, but there are some indication, and there are tiebreaker scenarios. One for divisional finish, which is one component, and then there's a tiebreaker specifically for hosting the championship game. But why is that important that a lot of folks are asking the questions about hosting the championship game? Why are teams like Prairie putting all this additional information out about the potential of hosting a championship game? Whether it's Jackson State, Alabama State, Alcorn a couple of years ago when it first turned over there. Well, the host team gets to keep all the ticket sales. The conference pays for the visitor in terms of no cost to them, but whatever you sell in terms of your ticket sales, whatever you do with your suites, whatever you do with campus parking, and essentially it's anywhere from about what we've seen since the last couple of games, including FAMU that hosted a couple of years ago, we see that essentially that is about $1 million. Specifically, it's about $750K to about $1.25 million. So it can slide a little bit, but roughly in the estimate, you're talking about $1 million to host a championship game. Obviously, ever since it's been brought to campus, the host team has won, which means not only do you get the benefit of that essential $1 million, you clinch your ticket if you win the game to go to the celebration bowl, which is essentially another $1 million. So hosting the game for the SWAC since it started has been essentially a $2 million ticket. One for hosting the game and everything that goes there, and meaning the team that is hosted has won. So if that continues to be the framework, you're talking about $2 million. But regardless, that's some framework that people are asking about. What is the importance about hosting the game? So I kind of wanted to put that out there because it was requested. With that being said, let's kind of go around. I don't know if there's a lot out there, but if you want to, Charles, what's on your mind in terms of this week in the HBCU sporting landscape?
Yeah, let's take a look at the SWAC Weekly Awards this past week as the Southwestern Athletic Conference tabbed Grambling State's Xavier T-Set and Josh McCormick, Bethune-Cookman's Jalen Lewis, Florida A&M's Daniel Porto, and Jamal Haley, along with Alabama State's Andrew Body and Janelle Lenore for SWAC Weekly Awards. Let's take a look at the co-offensive players of the week. Xavier T-Set threw for 232 yards and 2 touchdowns on 16 of 26 passes. He also ran for 31 yards and a TD on 8 carries in Grambling's big victory over Jackson State. Andrew Body, he led the way for the Alabama State Hornets, completing 19 of 24 passes for 304 yards and 5 touchdowns, while also adding a rushing score to pace Alabama State's offense that rolled up an incredible 616 yards of total offense. Co-defensive players of the week include Bethune-Cookman's Jalen Lewis. He finished the day with 4 tackles, none bigger than a pair of sacks for 21 yards in total loss. Also, Jaleel Lenore from Alabama State. He had 4 tackles, 1.5 sacks for 13 yards, and a forced fumble during Alabama State's 56-13 win over Alabama A&M. And we have co-specialists of the week this past week. Porto, it turned in an impressive performance, 3 for 3 on field goal attempts, providing steady scoring and a momentum at key moments during Florida A&M's win over Southern this past week. Also, McCormick, he stepped up, had a clutch situation on a 44-yard game-winning field goal to help secure Grambling State's 26-24 win over Jackson State. So I want to give a shout out to all those players for winning SWAC Football Weekly Awards this past week.
Thank you, Charles. Good update. I'm going to go to you, Wilton, because first I want to say I saw Andrew Body since Charles gave him a shout out, rightfully so, and shout out to all those players of the week. But that video he has coming to score one of those touchdowns, and they do the little Cavil strut.
Oh, God.
That was fly. That was fly. I want to give you a little love.
Hey.
Well, y'all boys be smooth at times.
Oh, no.
It's hard. I'm glad y'all got rid of them canes because y'all can't hold them up for too long. But that being said, shout out.
We gonna be smooth. I'm just glad they ain't penalizing for it. Because I just knew a penalty was coming for it.
Well, you know, it's only the boys in the purple and gold that throwing them hooks to get penalties in black college football. I'm saying, it cost you a championship game too, or a 15-yard penalty. South Carolina State, they figured that out too. So they got to get the message. Something wrong over there. With that being said, what's on your mind in terms of update?
So, Doc, I'm going to get into some of the MEAC weekly football honors. South Carolina State University quarterback William Atkins IV was named the MEAC Offensive Player of the Week. His teammates Jordan Dollard and Chavez Trask Jr. also earned top honors, with Dollard recognized as the Defensive Player of the Week and Trask as Offensive Lineman of the Week. Morgan State's Raymond Moore II was selected as the Rookie of the Week, and South Carolina State's Nico Cavanilis-Alti claimed Specialist of the Week. Atkins IV led the Bulldogs to a decisive 51-20 victory against Norfolk State, marking South Carolina State's first conference win of the season. He went 24 of 36 passes for 428 yards, including 4 touchdowns and a 75-yard completion, fueling a balanced offensive attack that totaled 613 yards. Dollar anchored the Bulldog defense with 6 tackles, including 3 for a loss and 1.5 sacks. His performance helped limit Norfolk State to 61 rushing yards. Trash Jr. led the offensive line to a season high of 613 total yards, including 428 through the air and 185 on the ground. He earned a 91% grade with 8 pancake blocks and allowed 0 sacks or penalties, providing the Bulldogs with dominant line play. Raymond Moore II rushed for 99 yards on 11 carries, including an 81-yard touchdown run, and added 171 passing yards with a touchdown pass in the overtime loss to Howard. Nico Camanilis-Alti accounted for 15 points in the Bulldogs' win, converting all 6 PATs and 3 field goals from 36, 26, and 21 yards against Norfolk State.
Good stuff. Great update. Shout out to all the MEAC superlatives. 80 Drew, what's on your mind for the day?
I'm going, as usual, I'm going off the radar, but I am staying on script. I am going to talk about cross country.
Yes.
All right. As you know, the SWAC held its cross country championships earlier this week. I don't know if you want me to get both men and women, Dr. Cavil, but
you can get at least the highlights and say who won.
Okay, yeah, I'm not going. Alabama State won the women's cross country championship on Monday at Appalachia. That's Appalachia, everybody, not Apache. Appalachia Regional Park. If you're not from down there, you could very easily call it Apache. Anyway, Texas Southern's Olivia Brown won the individual race, but Alabama State finished 2 and 3 to pace their way to winning their championship. The winner, the top finisher from Alabama State, Aaliyah Williams, finished with a time of 18 minutes, 22.0 seconds. So congratulations to Alabama State. Moving on quickly to the men's side, Bethune-Cookman, that little school on the beach. See, they run in sand. They got an advantage over everybody. They be practicing in sand and then run on solid ground. That's why they can do that so doggone good. Anyway, they won at the same facility with Andrew Kiplagat winning the individual title at a time of 24:48.2. Jackson State's Godfrey Kimolti and Bethune-Cookman's Victor Cabot finished second and third respectively in the final rankings. Texas Southern and Prairie View finished second and third place, respectively, in the final team standing. So not only Texas Southern and Prairie View doing good in football, they also doing good in cross country and a few other sports. What y'all got going on down there? Y'all in the fall sports business down there in Texas, everybody. What's going on?
Yeah, it's about time. We've been working on that. Trying to do it. But shout out Bethune-Cookman as they decided to get into the championship business. They ended the season last year with the baseball championship, and they starting things off with a cross-country men's championship. Good stuff. Shout out to the Wildcats.
Last men's champion.
To Alabama State as they got back-to-back championships, so they're back to doing what they do.
I was going to say Bethune closed out last year with the last men's championship that was given out and opened up this year with the first men's championship that was given out in any sport in the SWAC.
Certainly. Mike, giving you the last statement in this first segment. What's on your mind?
Yeah. Have we covered volleyball?
No. We hadn't.
Volleyball. Let me cover volleyball. Coppin State's Charisse Atalano has been named MEAC Player of the Week. The league announced just today. Maryland Eastern Shore's Malzia Shaw earned Rookie of the Week honors. Coppin State's Andrea Serrano was recognized as Setter of the Week, while teammate Luna Ivana was named Defensive Player of the Week. Now, Atalano powered Coppin State to a 3-0 week. She delivered an all-round performance with my favorite stat: 48 kills, 4%, 48 kills, and 44 digs. 5 aces. Man, they need stats like that in Houston. She also had 3 blocks while hitting .244. Atalano notched 3 straight double-doubles including standard performance and wins over NJIT and Howard. That's New Jersey Institute of Technology, for those folks who question what NJIT was, and Howard, and capped the week with 17 kills, 17 digs, 4 aces, and a sweep. Man, that deserves a breakfast at Waffle House for sure.
Scattered, smothered, and covered.
That's right. Scattered, covered, and smothered. Shaw had a breakout weekend for the
Yeah, I
Hawks.
knew you mind chunk.
I just keep it scattered, covered, and smothered, baby. A little hot sauce on the side. Shaw had a breakout weekend for the Hawks, recording 19 kills, 9 digs, 2 blocks, hitting .325 across 3 matches. Shaw posted 8 kills, 5 digs, and a win over South Carolina State, and followed with 11 kills, 4 digs, and a block against North Carolina. Shaw was doing the thing. Sarano averaged 6 assists, 2.17 digs per set, adding 4 aces in a 3-0 week. And last but not least, Ivana totaled 30 digs over two matches, highlighted by a season-high 18 digs against Coppin State and 12 digs with an ace and a sweep of Delaware State. So congratulations to the volleyball player weekly honorees. I love that stat. Digs and kills. Oh my goodness. We need to lobby for those kind of terms in Houston and football. The only thing I know is the pancake. That's it.
Mike, they got you shouting out talking about when you said volleyball, talking about, oh, here comes the kill stats. And then shout out to Emma Price. Yes, your Wildcats getting it done. We're going to give love. Well deserved. Thanks for the support. With that being said, let's get into our first segment break, and then we'll come back on the other side. But before we do that, shout out to Mike rolling them R's, man. You can tell he's an international player, but you don't have a little. Let's do our first break and come back on the other side.
You and Wilton looking good. Give me some love on my R rolling.
I can hit you with some St. Louis R's over there.
Merc.
That's about right. That's right. It sounds like some Dallas folks, boy. Y'all must be cousin. Let's take our first break and get on the other side. This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavil of Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. Whether you're a student or a lifelong supporter, our gear lets you wear your HBCU story with confidence and style. Because when you wear HBCU Image, you're not just wearing clothes. You're wearing culture. You're wearing pride. You're wearing purpose. HBCU
college football fans. The Cricket Celebration Bowl is celebrating 10 years of crowning an HBCU national champion. A champion will rise at Mercedes-Benz Stadium on December 13th as the MEAC and SWAC champions clash in Atlanta. Join us for championship football, interactive fan experiences, and iconic marching bands. It's an HBCU family reunion that you don't want to miss. See who will be crowned the next HBCU national champion. For event and ticket information, visit thecelebrationbowl.com.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
But to be real, right? Let's get back on the real. Go by.
That's it in a nutshell.
And while we saying that, listen, let me go and drop this for them, Coach. I want to talk to you about time. It's time. It's time. It's time for
the SWAC Cross Division Game of the Year as the number one ranked passer, Andrew Body, leads Alabama State's number one ranked offense against Trevor Randall and Prairie A&M's number one ranked defense. Can Alabama State keep their hopes of going to the SWAC championship game alive, or will the Panthers show that they are the big dog in the SWAC this year? Get your tickets to see November 1st, 2025 at 2 p.m.
This is Dr. Cavil inside HBCU Sports Lab. That's PV versus everybody. I want to give a little shout out and some love for folks getting it done. That's Lionel, Prairie A&M, getting it done in terms of his show there. So let's get right into it. That's the matchup. We're going to look at key major division matchups in weeks 9. We're going to start with the big one that everybody tells us in our ranking as we pulled it up and get into it. We had the top 7. I'll give you those top 7 as we are pulling the rankings up to get into some of these key matchups. We're also going to introduce, when you all break down these matchups, Kyle Mosley, HBCU Legends, has his SP Plus, which gets into advanced analytics. So we'll get your breakdowns of this particular matchup, maybe some other ones, but certainly see what he has to do when he's run his data to see where you all in which direction you have. When you talk about the top 7, though, this week at number 7, we have North Carolina Central. At number 7, Texas Southern is number 6. Number 5 is Delaware State, the Hornets. Number 4 is South Carolina State Bulldogs. And number 3 is the Jackson State Tigers. And number 2 is Prairie. And at number 1 is Alabama State. With this matchup, you have Alabama State coming to Prairie View, number 1 team in week number 9, according to Dr. Bill, HBCU Sports Lab, the only one that counts, I must say. They come in with the overall record of 5-2. They're 3-1. They have 5 first place votes, and they're facing off against Prairie A&M that comes in at 6-2, 4-0 with 4 place votes. So let's get into that matchup and get what your thoughts are in terms of this number 1 versus number 2, in terms of what that looks like. Let me start with you, Charles. Where are you in terms of this matchup? We're going to Charles and see what he is.
I'm waiting to hear from somebody else real quick. All right, let's. I think when you take a look at it, I think the big key, obviously, for Prairie for me is time of possession and keeping Alabama State's offense off the field. I think that's going to be huge. You're going to have to ask for Chase Bigman. You're going to have to ask for Lamaje McDowell. You're going to have to ask for Shad Bird. You're going to have to ask for that entire backfield to have the game of their lives in this game and really control the clock. You have to limit Alabama State's offensive possessions because we know what Andrew Body can do from an offensive standpoint. And if you're going to look at an Achilles heel with regards to Alabama State, especially on the defensive side of the ball, it is they can't stop the run very well. And this plays into the strength, I think, of Prairie. That being said, you have to play a smart, efficient game. You have to ask your quarterbacks to keep those chains moving, and they can get the win in this. So I'm going to go to homestand and Prairie View Panthers to get the dub in this one.
Wilton, where are you in terms of this top matchup? It really doesn't get any harder. Boy, you talking about the SWAC. SWAC has been fortunate this year. This is their second 1 versus 2 matchup. As I said before, the first one was an Eastern Division matchup, and this is cross divisions, East versus West. But at the end of the day, it's featuring the top two teams, at least in terms of week 9. Where are you in terms of the Hornets versus the Panthers in this matchup?
Doc, I think this is going to be a really good matchup. To a lot of Charles' points of what he mentioned is more so the fact of like making sure if you're Prairie View, you absolutely have to protect the ball, not have turnovers. Obviously, manage the clock as well and keeping Andrew Body off of the field. I think also making sure you find ways if you're Prairie View to put Alabama State in like third and long situations. I think that also helps in terms of maybe slowing them down potentially on offense. But I think the biggest goal is like you have to absolutely contain Andrew Body. Like that has to be the number one goal. Your rushing attack, if you're Prairie View, and to one of Charles' points, that has to be going very, very early in this game because, like I said, Alabama State is not that strong in stopping the run. So if you're Prairie View, knowing that you don't necessarily have the full consistency and continuity that you have in your running game and your passing attack, the running game absolutely has to be strong. The fact that this game is being played at Prairie View, I want to give the edge so bad to Prairie View. So I think it's going to be a close game. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Prairie View wins this game anywhere between a field goal and 7 points.
I got you. Good breakdown. Drew, where are you in terms of this top matchup?
First of all, I'm upset at YouTube for adding all these numbers on the back of everybody's doggone handle, and you can't. You have to look and look through them to identify who's on our show now. You used to be able to quickly glance at them, but anyway. So first of all, I'm just mad at YouTube.
These algorithms, boy, they follow us everywhere.
Now that I'm off that tangent, I am going to my stat, because I know we're going to get into Kyle's stat, but I'm going with my efficiency stat, the stat that measures your offensive and defensive efficiency relative to your score. And according to my efficiency stat on a per game average, Alabama State is 9.7 points better than their opponents, while Prairie View is only counted 0.23 points better than their opponent. So based on the metrics that I have created, and I don't care what y'all say, I'm going by my metrics. Alabama State by a little bit more than a touchdown.
Good stuff. Mike, close it out.
Yeah, so you got a classic battle here. Number one, offense, defense. We know that. But if you dig deeper into that, I think Charles alluded to it. Alabama State is number 8 or 9, and they've been as low as 10 in the SWAC in defending against the run. So if there's any Achilles tendon, that does sway to Prairie View's strength, which is the run game. However, the other thing you have to keep in mind is if you look at the top, Alabama State has 3 top rushers in the top 12. Their number one rusher is also their number one passer. So Andrew Body is number one. Then you have Kirkendall kind of bringing up. And then you got Holsclaw. So they have a committee of folks that can run the ball. And then passing is just as good. So the other thing, so if you can somehow neutralize, and they have to be all in on stopping Andrew Body when he's on the field. Vegas has Alabama State by 9.5. That's kind of close to your scale of what you had, AD. I looked into their numbers, and they do some kind of algorithm, but they have Alabama State by 9.5. I also have to give home field advantage and who's won the last 3-4 out of these matchups. Alabama State has the advantage overall in their head-to-head matchup. However, if you look at the last 6 or 7, I believe Prairie View has an advantage as well. So we will see if Prairie View can come out with that momentum. I think they can pull out a close win at home. I am going to call for the upset. I'm not thinking with my head. I'm thinking that defense and I think Coach Tremaine will get these guys up for the battle. I am calling for an upset at home over Alabama State based on that defense and them kind of neutralizing Andrew Body. Andrew Body has not beaten Prairie View, I do not believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. So he has something and there's some stake in this game as well. But I think Prairie View defense will meet the challenge, and I think it'll be a very close game. I'm going to go against Vegas and go with Prairie View on the upset win here.
Good stuff. Mike is going with the upset. Let's see what Kyle Mosley said. Go to our next program here, and he says Alabama State versus Prairie View projection. Alabama State leads SWAC in offense, but Prairie View is number one in defense. 17.3 points allowed per game, strength versus strength. Look for a close, low-scoring contest, which many of you all said.
Yep.
He says with Alabama State's firepower narrowly overcoming Prairie View's defense edge, Alabama State by a slim margin is what he has in terms of his projection running the numbers. So we'll see what that looks like. Let's take our next break. And when we come on the other side, time to talk about a top 10 matchup that features Jackson State. It actually leads the East. People have forgot about that. While they do have the loss, they have the head-to-head tiebreaker. So while the big game is number 1 versus 2, Jackson State has their destination in their hand. Although they lost last week, they're still coming in at number 3. We'll be right back when we talk about 3 versus 10, Jackson State versus Florida A&M in the next segment. And we'll see what the Kyle Mosley projection is. We'll see what these gentlemen have. On this first one, 3 going with Alabama State, 1 with Prairie View. Fascinating to see what they say in the next matchup. Let's come right back after this next break.
Football fans, the Cricket Celebration Bowl is celebrating 10 years of crowning an HBCU national champion. A champion will rise at Mercedes-Benz Stadium on December 13th as the MEAC and SWAC champions clash in Atlanta. Join us for championship football, interactive fan experiences, and iconic marching bands. It's an HBCU family reunion that you don't want to miss. See who will be crowned the next HBCU national champion. For event and ticket information, visit thecelebrationbowl.com.
For over 30 years, HBCU image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a state, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. Whether you're a student or a lifelong supporter, our gear lets you wear your HBCU story with confidence and style. Because when you wear HBCU image, you're not just wearing clothes. You're wearing culture. You're wearing pride. You're wearing purpose. HBCU.
With over 25 years of serving our communities, Destiny Financial Services, a division of Global Life, is here to help you and your family through difficult times. From cancer care to accidental industries to cardiac care, we all know that there are times that you can't control what happens in your life, but you can be prepared to weather the storm when it comes. Call DFS at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at www.globelifeinsurance.com. That is 877-300-8269, or again, the website at www.globelifeinsurance.com.
ESPN Events presents Red Lobster Band of the Year, a title reserved for elite HBCU marching bands. A season-long competition that culminates in Atlanta on Friday, December 12th. Drum majors, percussion, drill, auxiliaries, musicality. All aspects will be examined by the toughest judges in the world of college bands. 4 will qualify for the big stage, where national champions will be crowned. Follow us on social media for rankings updates throughout the season. And join us in Atlanta on December 12th. For event and ticket information, visit bandoftheyear.com.
This is Dr. Cavil inside the HBCU Sports Lab. We're going to see if we can get Roosevelt Huggins to join us. He is the president of the PVAMU National Alumni Association. Charles, I'm pulling out all the big guns.
There must be a big game coming this week.
Before we give in here and give him this chance, so I just want to let him know that when we decide to get in the football business, We do it right. Right? I wanted to give an early shout out. I know some of y'all got your eyes on one of the screens. Listen to us. Delaware State is up on Norfolk State 3-0. That is in the first quarter. It's just started, 13 minutes left. Norfolk State has the ball and they are driving. We'll see what that looks like. But with that, without further ado, let me bring in Roosevelt Huggins. I've been knowing Roosevelt Huggins since we were both in undergrad together in the engineering program down in Prairie View, and he's doing really well, VP of an organization. So I'm like, man, Roosevelt, I've been when you were writing papers, I knew you were sharp. I didn't know you were going to be able to climb up the corporate ladder like that. So some of the secrets I get in trying to navigate my space, I call him up every once in a while. He gives me a little dime here and there, and I'm like, appreciate that. Appreciate my pockets feel wet when he does. How you doing? Mike does the other side of it. You know, he VP too. I hang up with big brothers, man. I ain't got I go to dinner, man. I ain't got to worry about nothing. I got it.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Cavil, for letting me be on tonight. I'm actually in Kansas City. It's cold up here.
I told you.
But I'm traveling, trying to get my work done before I come back for this big game to see the Panthers come off that hill this weekend, right? So we're really, really excited.
Good stuff. Well, let me ask you a couple of questions. I know your schedule is busy, and the gentlemen want to get back into this next matchup. But before we do that, I wanted to ask you, what do you have set up? I know you put some things together, and you want some Prairie View folks to know to come out to the game, but why to come out early and
well, we're going to do it again. I have to give a shout out. We went down to Southern, and we did a big tailgate a couple of weeks ago. I think there were some people talking about how well we did it. We're going to do it again for this game at home. It's in collaboration with the 1876 Athletic Foundation and the Prairie View A&M NAA National Alumni Association. Not a food tailgate, but it's going to be a fun, festive tailgate with, let me say, some libations flowing very well. So
some liquids, yes.
Some liquids, some purple haze. So,
that's right.
Some stuff, right, they get us right as we walk into the hill at 1:30, because we're going to be in the seats for Coach at Star Spangled Banner time, right?
Yeah.
So we're really excited. We got a lot of people involved with the tailgate. I'm working on some giveaways. I don't have it solidified yet, but if I get some giveaways, we'll do a giveaway right at 1:30 with some nice Prairie View paraphernalia. But, our goal here is really just to get people out, have a reason to show that old Panther spirit, get alumni walking around the hill before the game, and really trying to answer the call that our Coach Jackson, our fearless leader, told us. He needs alumni to be championship contenders. We need to be championship level, and the only way we know, instead of having one alumni tailgates, we actually have two alumni tailgates, right? So that's what we're doing as a championship alumni base.
I like it. Speaking of the trip that you went to Southern, when you got SWAC and the food, those guys, and I say that's the term they use for their show, but I say that respectfully, when they get on the show, and because it's operated mainly by a big-time Alcorn State supporter,
right,
as well as a Southern alum, those millennials, as they get down and bring the funk. One of the things they talked about in that show was the fact they had never seen a visiting team be able to get such prime seats in Southern University where the 50-yard line, and they were trying to figure out how did they do that. Well, this still is part of the reason they got done. So the last thing I want to ask you, Roosevelt, is for those that want to get re-engaged or engaged with the PVAMU National Alumni Association, how can they do that?
Well, you go to pvualumni.org and you get engaged that way. We're on Facebook and obviously on the web. Our Facebook, I think it's the Prairie A&M National Alumni Association. You can easily reach out to me. I will get you the membership information right away. We have key chapters in classes in most major cities, definitely Houston, Dallas, Atlanta, LA, Washington, D.C., Chicago. We have a Florida representation. So we have people we can get you with locally so you can have that local Panther spirit during the year, not just at homecoming and not at just big games. But you talked about. I just want to say this, if you don't mind. You talked about that Southern tailgate. Dr. Cavil, we always talked about once we got our money right, what are the things we could do? Well, we had our money right at Southern, and there's nothing we couldn't do. So I think, this tailgate will be just like that. We'll have a lot of people out. It won't be homecoming, but I think we're going to have some fun times with some fun friends that you may not have seen in a while. So we're really excited. And again, really to build on, we're trying to give some money to the Panther Athletic Fund at the same time, and also build on, the NAA membership. That's our goal for this tailgate.
Great breakdown. Appreciate you. Update here with 10 minutes left. Norfolk State has scored a touchdown, so at this point it's 6-3.
Okay.
So they're churning over there. Trying to
miss the after point attempt, and 6-3.
6-3. So fascinating with that. I'll leave you on this, Roosevelt. As you said, go back in the day. And I told you the focus is to get things right on the backside of Prairie View. So when the chance gets to going, it'll be there. And you were one of the huge folks that will continue to build, certainly believe. And so therefore, I salute you in terms of what are you getting done. With that being said, let's take our next break. We'll come back on the other side. We'll get into that next matchup that I talked about, 3 versus 10. We'll keep it rolling. We'll be right back after this next break.
You're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics. There's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
Planning an event? From weddings to corporate functions, CMJ Events LLC brings over 15 years of experience to make your vision a reality. Based in Metro Atlanta and serving statewide, even internationally, we provide versatile event planning and authentic catering cuisines tailored to your needs. Whether it's pregame meals for student athletes, fundraisers, weddings, corporate functions, CMJ Events LLC is your one-stop solution for exceptional service and unforgettable food. Our diverse culinary heritage means we cater to all cultural tastes, dietary needs, and food restrictions, making every meal uniquely yours. Let's make your next event unforgettable. Visit us on all social media at CMJ Events LLC or email us at cmjeventsllc@gmail.com. Also give us a call at 404-664-3882 so that we can start planning now.
College football fans, a champion will rise in Atlanta on December 13th. MEAC champion, SWAC champion, the 10th Cricket Celebration Bowl, crowning an HBCU national champion. For event and ticket information, visit thecelebrationbowl.com.
Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties. Through its programs, Journey into Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and parenting education coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and instagram.com/empowermentjax.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. HBCU Image, a Kenny T's company.
ESPN Events presents Red Lobster Band of the Year. Returning to Atlanta on December 12th, 4 bands will qualify for the big stage, where 2 national champions will be crowned. Follow us for rankings updates throughout the season, and join us on December 12th. For event and ticket information, visit bandoftheyear.com.
Compress the analytic data with your hip-hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they want a lot, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Let's get back into the football talk. We got 3 versus 10. I'm really interested in this update to see where we are. Obviously, it's been quiet in terms of Morgan appropriately in a lot of ways, but I'm fascinating in terms of what this could mean for this game. Number 3, Jackson State Tigers, 5-2, 3-1. As I said, they actually control their own destiny, and they hold the tiebreaker at this point. And so they want to continue to roll, but they're in Tallahassee. Tallahassee seems to have some new life, feeling good about themselves. They're at number 10. They've won 2 straight games. The Rattlers at 3-4, 2-1. I'm gonna go with you, AD Drew. What are your thoughts in terms of this matchup? Can the Rattlers get the upset? And if so, how?
Sidebar. How did you get a delay of game penalty on the kickoff coming out of a media timeout like Norfolk State just did?
I don't know. I just saw
I'm still
that.
trying to figure that one out because it happened while we were on commercial break. But coming out of a media timeout, delay a game? Come on,
Delay
y'all.
a game? Oh, what?
Anyway, I'm gonna keep this short and simple because I know we don't have a whole lot of show left. I'm just going back to the BCSN efficiency rating system. Jackson State averaging 2.2 points more than their opponents this year. Actually, 2.1 points more than their opponents.
Nice.
While Florida A&M is 11.4 points to the negative. Which means if you do the math, that gives Jackson State by 13.5 points. So we're going to stay with the metrics on this one. I'm going to be a nerd today. Jackson State by 13.5 points.
82 showing another side. Good stuff, good stuff. Wilton, where are you in terms of this matchup? Do you believe in the numbers or do you have your own framework the way you're looking at this game? What you got?
So I do agree with that advantage in terms of the points because I have Jackson State win this game anywhere between 10 and 13, but I think more so a lot of people have kind of not. I won't necessarily say they've written off Jackson State, but they definitely have questioned whether or not Jackson State is still going to be the same without Jacoby and Morgan. And I can assure you that I went to practice today and I saw them practice. And,
we got a practice report, Charles.
Yeah, limited information, but I can assure you that like both sides of the ball look good. I can assure you that this was a
Jackson, a little more than that. They're gonna invite you back. They like us. They like
hey. I'm just doing my job. But as far as the defense, like I said, they gave up some uncharacteristic plays in that game against Grambling, specifically on the ground. So I think you'll see things tightened up. I actually talked to a couple people that had laid eyes on defensive coordinator Terenzo Quinn, and he was pretty quiet all week, basically trying to be dialed in for this game. So I would expect the defense to be tightened up in this game. I think that whichever quarterback Coach Taylor goes with, whether it's Parker Stouffer or Jared Lockhart, either one of them will be locked in. But I can assure you, this is a team that is going to be locked in and ready to go, and I don't see them dropping a second game. Even though, again, Bragg is a tough place to play, I got Jackson State win this game close to anywhere between 10 and 13 points.
Can you start a freshman quarterback in Bragg?
Brian Puffer has the update and says that Jacobian is not playing. Take that how you will. These gentlemen still have them almost 2 touchdown win, but I want to see what Mike says in terms of his thoughts on this match.
So mine is a lot like AD's. I mean, if you look at how they rank, you look first at FAMU and you look at how many points they're getting. They're 21 points a game, allowing 33.
Not a lot. Yeah.
Yes, 20 points versus 33. Jackson State still has Ahmad Miller. They still have 2 receivers. They still have a defense. So by no means are they out of this thing. So by, just straight comparison statistics, you got to factor in a few things. I have Jackson State winning this by, at least 10 points and going into Bragg. Yes. So you look at all the factors, in every category, they have folks in the top 12. I know Jacobian got hurt, but you have to factor in how many folks they have in other categories. So they're not impacted in those areas. Someone said their defense. Well, their defense is still number 2 or number 3. That has not changed. So I still have them winning by at least 10 points in Bragg.
Good stuff. Let's look at our Kyle Mosley matrix. We AD Drew give you Charles.
We missed.
I'm sorry. I want to get Charles in there. I was saving him for last and teasing him, scaring him a little bit that we weren't gonna let him talk. He's gonna get upset. He's like, hold on.
Y'all about to make CB mad up in here.
Charles lip get to twiddle.
Well, I'll say it this way. I have heard some reports that it's been a really good week of practice for Jackson State. But I think the number to really look at with regards to this
Wilton,
game.
you sharing your notes with Charles, but not us? All right.
In Jackson State's wins this season, they rushed for
Jackson State, yards. I trust them. I got you. I see.
Yeah, I will say that in Jackson State's wins this season, they rushed for over 200 yards. While in the games they haven't reached 200 yards at 1 and 2. I think that's a big stat to take a look at. So you are going to have to ask for your offense to, in the presence of Jacobian Morgan possibly not playing, that you're going to have to ask for a strong rushing game. And then again, we see once you start creeping those safeties up, we do know that Jared Lockhart throws a really good deep ball, and you're going to have to win those deep balls downfield. I think that's going to be huge for Jackson State's offense in this game. Consequently, on the opposite side, take a look on the defensive side of the ball. I think it's huge for Florida A&M to get that passing game up and going. We've seen something. I don't know what has happened with regards to Florida A&M, but that fourth quarter against Alcorn, things kind of turned around. And now we've seen over the past couple of games, R.J. Johnson, 38 attempts in the Alcorn game, 32 attempts in the Southern game in terms of throwing the football around. So that's one of the things that, if you're a Florida A&M fan, I think you take a look at. You like your matchup against Jackson State's defensive backs. But I think this game hinges on, can Jackson State get to R.J. Johnson? One of the things we know that Jackson State does tremendously, they cut your legs off. They keep you from running the football. They're tops in the conference in that regards in terms of stopping the run. That's going to be huge for them. Jamal Haley, big game this past weekend against Southern where he ran for over 150 yards. Jackson State has to cut that off and then force Florida A&M into some third down and longs. I think that's going to be huge for Quincy Ivory can pin his ears back and get off. So I got to go with Jackson State in this game. I think they can get it done on the road. You're asking a lot with regards to the offense trying to get things done. But again, they have toys. They have Nate Rembert. They have Jamil Gardner. They have Jalen Dupree. You've got to test Florida A&M secondary and get some of those deep balls downfield.
3 top 10 receivers. 3 top 10 receivers. Yes.
Good stuff.
Can Jackson State win another game in another time zone? Second time zone in 2 weeks.
Yep. You told us at the beginning to look at the time zone, and it didn't catch them on the back end, or at least we don't know that yet, but it caught them on the front end. We'll see what that means. Charles chuckles and said that's a lot of analytics. Well, AD Drew gave you his analytics, and that it was plus 14 in terms of Jackson State. We have a clean sweep for Jackson State. Let me give you another analytics. Kyle Mosley, HBCU legend, SPS. SP plus. I'm thinking about the SPSS that Charles is doing for his dissertation. But with that being said, advanced analytics. We have FAMU versus Jackson State, and Jacobian Morgan's injury adjustment is what he had to use in this one. Impact. Jackson State loses their starting quarterback, likely reduces offensive efficiency. A conservative estimate is to drop their points per game protection by 7 to 10 points. Due to the reduction in passing reduction, third down conversion, and scoring drives. Revised projection. The previous projection had Jackson State winning before the injury 28-23. New projection has Jackson State 20, FAMU 23. Projection winner upset, Florida A&M edges ahead of Jackson. JSU decreases in offense firepower. Interesting. The only one that puts out there is Kyle Mosley. We'll see what happens on Saturday. That's why we play the game.
Look at Brian jumping in.
Brian said, struck the world. Well, he likes the projection.
Look at it.
Wow.
Yeah. Salute out to Kyle Mosley. I think we got some fandom going on in here. But let's take our last break, come back on the other side. We'll do kind of a fast rundown. Give you any updates to take place here on a couple of games before we let these gentlemen get out of here in the show. Let's take a last break and come back on the other side. Still, the score is 6-3 between Norfolk State and Delaware State, with Norfolk State having the lead. Let's come back on the other side after this last break.
Greetings, Panthers. My name is Roland Austin, and I'm one of the directors at the 1876 Athletic Foundation. The 1876 Athletic Foundation was formed to promote the success of all 343 student athletes. Our overall goal is to fund scholarships for all of our student athletes. We ask that you help us in achieving this goal by donating to the 1876 Athletic Foundation via the QR code below or 1876.foundation. Your generous donation will help us continue to assist the needs of all of our Panther athletes. Thanks, and go Panthers.
ESPN Events presents Red Lobster Band of the Year, a title reserved for elite HBCU marching bands. A season-long competition that culminates in Atlanta on Friday, December 12th. Drum majors, percussion, drill, auxiliaries, musicality. All aspects will be examined by the toughest judges in the world of college bands. 4 will qualify for the big stage, where national champions will be crowned. Follow us on social media for rankings updates throughout the season. And join us in Atlanta on December 12th. For event and ticket information, visit bandoftheyear.com.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. Whether you're a student or a lifelong supporter, our gear lets you wear your HBCU story with confidence and style. Because when you wear HBCU Image, you're not just wearing clothes. You're wearing culture. You're wearing pride. You're wearing purpose. HBCU Image. A Kenny T's company.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington, Charles Bishop, Wilton Jackson II, AD Drew, in for this last segment. So let's get into it. I want to bring up a couple of mid-major games. We won't get into the discussion here. We talked about those, but I do want to recognize them as top 10 matchups and making sure folks are keeping their eyes on them. While one is a top 10 matchup, you all were not excited about it being close at least. You really think Albany State is really getting it done and pulling away. That matchup did feature number 9 Savannah State Tigers 4-4 and 3-3. At number 1, Albany State Golden Rams that are 7-1 and 6-0. After coming off that huge upset of previous number 1, they've taken over the number 1 seed. And you have Savannah State outside of their top 7, but they got to go on the road. So I see why you all are leaning with the Golden Rams in this matchup. The light is really in the CIAA. While all the fun was SIAC last weekend with the 1-2 matchup, in the SIAC we do have a top 7. This one is 3 versus 6. Previously, this would be a Southern Division matchup to see who would get out of the division. They only play one lineup, so that's not the case, but it still is a big game because they're fighting for that 1 and 2 spot with Virginia Union leading the way. You have Fayetteville State that's also undefeated, but you have Johnson C. Smith Golden Bulls that come in the 3 spot higher than the undefeated Fayetteville State. They are 7-1 overall, 4-1 in terms of their conference record. They had number 6 Fayetteville State Broncos 5-3, 5-0. You wrote this down. Everybody, for the most part, said Johnson C. Smith. You did have one of the guys said, watch out, Broncos is where they're going. So that's something to keep your eyes. We'll see what that looks like next week. Fascinating in terms of the CIAA. Somebody is going to take a step forward while somebody will pull themselves and get back in the matchup. Let's go back to the major division games in terms of what this means in terms of some key matchups. We have Morgan State Bears. South Carolina State is number 5. The Morgan State Bears have found ways to lose. They had one game where they found a way to win, but most of them close. They haven't been able to get it done. So I'm not even saying if you are the lower seeded team, usually say if you can keep it close, you're in good shape. For these Bears, that doesn't work. They're 3-5, 0-1. They need this to somehow stay in the race, or a long season really gets longer as number 5 South Carolina State Bulldogs. Coach said in the media session that they're playing their best football right now. That's a scary thing if you are not a fan of the Bulldogs. They're 4-3, 1-0. That's your matchup there. Interesting when you think about the metrics. We heard the metrics in terms of AD Drew. But looking at Miles Mosley, he says Morgan State at South Carolina State projection. South Carolina State is 3rd in offensive output, while Morgan State's defense is solid. I could be closer contest, but South Carolina State's offense should make the difference at the matchup. He says South Carolina State by a touchdown. AD Drew, what were your metrics in terms of this matchup?
I was just looking at that, Dr. Cavil. To sum it up, The metrics has Morgan State by 3. South Carolina State a minus 575. Morgan State a minus 2.9. So when you do the math, that's Morgan State by 3 in a sloppy game.
Certainly would have to be that upset.
Yeah.
We don't have to go into a long conversation, but I want to know, Charles, which side of the dice are you rolling yours on?
I got to go against the metrics and go South Carolina State on this.
Wilton?
I'm definitely going with South Carolina State. I think it's going to be too much William Atkins the fourth. But as long as South Carolina State protects him, they finish in the red zone and find ways to keep Morgan State on the sideline and limited their rushing attack with Jason Collins. I think South Carolina State wins this game.
Mike, you going with the upset or are you going with Charles?
No, this is one time I don't go with the fuzzy math or the metrics. I'm gonna go with Vegas, which has South Carolina State.
Well, we're watching this one, so we won't even get into it because it's not fair to the people. Well, we have Norfolk State Spartans at 1-7, 0-1. At number 5, Delaware State says 5-3, 1-0. Early on, we do have an upset. Go up Brewing. Upset alert. It's very early. But Miles Mosley had Delaware State has the league's best offense, 481, and a respectable defense, while Norfolk State's defense gives up the most yards, 449.9. Your offense is fourth best. Expected Delaware State to dominate offensively and control the game space. Delaware State by 2 touchdowns. 80, what do you have?
Delaware State by 2 touchdowns.
Oh, they agree. Good stuff. Let's move forward. Alcorn State Braves 2-6, 1-3. Got a big win. They're at number 6 Texas Southern Tigers that are red hot. Probably didn't necessarily want to take a break, but they got a chance to be injured. They're back at home 4-3, 3-1. It's students rush the field week, so a lot of students were there. A lot of them excited in terms of those that made the academic dean's list. So be excited about that. Let's see what numbers have to say in this matchup. Predictions. Both excel at defense. Texas Southern is second best in defense, but Alcorn offense lags behind. This has the making of a defensive slugfest. But Texas Southern gets the nod at home. Texas Southern by a field goal. Drew, what do you have?
Texas Southern by 8.5.
Charles, you follow Texas Southern, call those games. I will get you in on this one. You agree?
I do agree. I think too much Atheon Renfro and KJ Cooper. I think Texas Southern has a lot more offensive output than what Alcorn can stop.
Good deal. Wilton, I'm going to get you in on this next one. It's number 7, North Carolina Central Eagles. Basically, the question is, can they bounce back? 5-3, 0-1 at Howard Bison at a 4-4, 1-0. This matchup features 2 teams that recently played in the Celebration Bowl. Oddly enough, both of these teams were in their way in those years. When this matchup came up, it clinched the division for them, but they beat the other team by 50 points. So interesting when you think about that matchup there. Let's see what the data says. North Carolina Central at Howard. Projection, Howard leads the MEAC in defense. Lowest yards allowed per game. I told everybody that this is a championship-level defense. The problem is the way on the other side in terms of offense, but is last in offense production. North Carolina Central boasts the second best offense, but a middle-ranked defense. This should be a defensive battle with North Carolina Central's offensive likely giving them a narrow win. North Carolina Central is a low-scoring fight to the finish. 80, Drew, quickly, what does your number say?
North Carolina Central by a field goal.
Wilton, where are you in terms of your analysis of this matchup based on the data analytics and your own personal?
I like the fact that obviously we know that Howard has a strong defense, but I think this is going to be too much of a North Carolina Central team that still has hopes of potentially getting to winning the MEAC and then also hopefully getting a berth into the Celebration Bowl. So I think it's going to be a good bounce back game. It's going to be a tight game though, but I think you're going to get a strong performance, bounce back performance between Walker Harris and Christian Mosley, and I think that the Eagles will get this win.
Update here, Delaware State has scored. They're back up 10-6, so things are going in their flavor in that matchup. But now we have Mississippi Valley State Delta Devils 1-6, 0-3 at number 8, Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. We know what they can do offensively. Do they continue to roll? We shall see. 4-4, 3-1. The metrics say in terms of Mosley. Production, Bethune-Cookman sits near the offensive top 3, while Mississippi Valley State is near the bottom on both sides. Bethune-Cookman should pull away in the second half. Bethune-Cookman by 2 scores. Drew, what do your metrics say?
BCU by 4.
Charles, where are you in terms of this matchup?
Bethune-Cookman too much offense, but interesting stat. They're second in the SWAC in sacks. And guess who's in the bottom of giving up sacks? Mississippi Valley. So I got to go with the Bethune.
That's not a good combination.
Not a good combo.
Glad you did it. The reason why. Yeah. Mike, I'm gonna get you in on this one. Alabama A&M Bulldogs 4-4, 1-3 at number 9 Grambling State Tigers that are coming off a big win. They do have a quarterback that got hurt in that matchup, so mentally where they are would be intriguing. I know you can't actually know inside it, but you can give a framework. They're 5-3, 2-2. In terms of what that looks like when we get into the matrix, this is another game where you can get some upset updates in terms of a quarterback. Prayers continue to go out for T-Set. We're hearing good things, so I'm glad to hear our prayers are being answered, but continue to say your prayers for that family no matter what. Impact, Grambling State loses their starting quarterback, which could decrease their points per game by a similar margin, 7 to 10 points, depending on the backup's experience and the system fit. Backup came in. That was a limited action. He's played this year for various reasons because of other injuries and led him to a game-winning field goal. But that's to be said. Previous Alabama A&M 29, Grambling State 26. But new projection, they have Alabama A&M 29, Grambling just 17. Projection winner Alabama A&M clear favorite as Grambling will likely struggle significantly more offensively. Charles, well, before I ask you that, excuse me, Mike. AD, what do you have in terms of your prediction?
This has Alabama A&M by a single point, but that obviously is before you factor in the injury to T-Set one way or the other. So everything even, Alabama A&M in a pick'em.
Charles?
Yeah, I got to go with Alabama A&M. Not having Xavier T-Set, I think that's a big question mark at quarterback spot for Grambling. But that being said, I think the health of Eric Hadley in this game, I think that's going to be huge for Alabama A&M as well.
Mike, where are you in terms of this?
Yep, same thing. Alabama A&M was number 6 offense with T-Set. Actually, they were number 1. So without T-Set, where do they go? You look on the defensive side, and you look at where they are. You got to give the edge to Alabama A&M by less than a single touchdown. Oh, by the way, Vegas has Alabama A&M by 5.5.
Interesting. Last one we'll discuss. One is a little bit off the board, but they're big brand. Want to see can they get their first win in a lot of ways, but they got to go on the road to do it. So does the Golden Lions get the win? Southern Jaguars 1-7, 0-4 at Arkansas at Pine Bluff. Golden Lions 2-5, 1-3. Let's see what the projections say. Southern Arkansas projection. Southern's defense is last in the league, while UAPB is in the middle of the pack in offense. But near the bottom in defense, expect the high-scoring affair, even though you have teams that can't score, potentially an upset if Southern can't tighten up defensively at home. Arkansas Pine Bluff in a possible upset is what they're calling. Drew, what do you have?
Alabama Arkansas Pine Bluff by 8 points.
Yep.
I'm gonna let everybody in this since it's our last one. Let's start with you, Mike.
That's the numbers. That's not me. That's what the computer say.
Dude,
I'm interested to see what you have to do. Mike, what do you say on this?
Dude, Southern is 15.9 points per game scoring offense. That's through week 9, 10, and they're allowing 37. Vegas has UAPB up. I'm going UAPB on this one.
Wilton?
I gotta go with Southern. I just think that
Wilton will always give an edge to Southern. They can be 0.
Where'd you graduate from, Wilton?
I went to Jackson State, Southern
Miss,
I
just want to make
He was there with them haunting years when Southern just would find a way to be down. They just think they have a win, they come back. He's still wounded.
So I got some Louisiana roots when I went to LSU. So I just can't go against Southern in this game. I do think it's going to be a close game, but I give the edge to Southern.
I would like to see Fred get one. I will agree with that. Charles, where are you? I'll let you end it.
Yeah, Southern is in the bottom of the SWAC rankings in offense, and the bottom of the SWAC rankings in defense. And for whatever reason, I'm picking them over UAPB. I just can't.
That's like saying you're gonna lose the Valley.
I don't know what it is. I don't know what hole they got on me. I think I know the hole, but let me see what my wife is.
I will get him out of here before he gets in trouble. Thank you for listening to Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Make sure you share your podcast with your friends and colleagues. I am Dr. Kenyatta Cavil, the Dean of HBCU Sports, come from inside the lab in the College of HBCU Sports with Mike Watson, Charles Bishop, Wilton Jackson II, and A.D. Drew. Appreciate you providing a tremendous show with a lot of information, a lot of data. Again, we want to thank you for listening to Dr. Bill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Watson, Charles Bishop every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time, Sunday at 9 a.m. Make sure you tune in to SWAC TV for that number 1 versus number 2 matchup. But tune in a little early at 9 o'clock Central Standard Time where you can get Game Time hosted by Roy. You'll see Charles joining Mike at times, myself, giving you updates specifically on the SWAC and the games of the day and what is taking place in the previous week. Follow me, Dr. Kenyatta Cavil, on Threads, Facebook, and Instagram. That's DrKenyattaCavil. Again, it's DrKenyattaCavil. Green Big, continue to move forward. We will talk with you soon. Charles?
Of course.
Mike?
Lecture.
Wilton and AD?
Dismiss.
Oh, they got 100.
I know.
A plus, baby.
Man,
it's in the book.
Man, Doc, you and Wilton with, man, I got to update my dress code, man. Serious. All of these Cartier Kappa-like clothing.
Slow you roll.
I'm serious.